everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today's video is one that has been requested so many times, and I have already filmed a video on this. I filmed a video called How I Got Into Yale, and it went through my whole admissions file, and I've also filmed a video about how to apply to US colleges as an international student, because the US college application process is complicated, so I broke the whole process down for you in that video. So those are two videos to watch if you're interested in those and if you haven't seen them already. But you guys keep asking me for tips on how to get into Yale, and I thought, well, I'm probably not the best person to ask because I kind of had no idea what I was doing. So what I've done is I've asked some of my friends at Yale. I just asked on my Instagram story for any Yale students to kind of send me in their best college application advice and their tips on how to get into Yale or any kind of top US colleges. So I'm just gonna read you out all of their advice and then kind of comment and expand on it, because obviously in Instagram, the little things, it's fairly short, and I'm gonna leave their Instagram usernames on the screen as well, because I promised that I would give them credit for their great advice. So let's get into it. Our first piece of advice comes from Rachel, and it's actually a good way to start off the video. I'm just starting from the bottom and going all the way up to the top. But first piece of advice is, don't hang your happiness on one school, and this is very true. Unlike the Australian university application system where it's literally just based on the atar, so this one atar number that you get, that's all the universities look at and they just take the top however many numbers. The US college application process is a little bit of a lottery. It's kind of random. You might get rejected from 20 schools and then get accepted into Harvard. Obviously there's some type of pattern and sense to it, but it is kind of a lottery, so don't hang your happiness on one school. And I would also say, if you do have your sights set on going to college in the US, then don't just apply to one school, and don't just apply to 2 schools. Apply to 10, 20 schools. I did not apply to that many schools, but looking back at it, I was not knowledgeable on the college application process when I went through the process myself a year ago. So this is why I want to educate you guys on what you should actually do, because I'm kind of learning all this stuff now. Definitely apply to lots of schools. I know the college applications take ages, but apply to a number of schools and don't hang your happiness on one school. Have multiple people look at your essays. Perspective is everything. Yes, again, another thing that I did not do, but in the US college application process, you have to write personal essays, so you might have to write 1 or 2 for every single school that you apply to. So it's a lot of writing to do, but I definitely recommend, and this goes for kind of any big important piece of writing that you do, but have multiple people look over your essays, definitely. Make sure you're authentic and honest about yourself. Don't try to say what you think they want to hear. I would definitely agree with this one, because what you think they want to hear is probably what most of the applicants think they want to hear. So if everyone writes what you think they want to hear, then you're going to be writing the same thing as everyone else applying, whereas you are the only person who is you. So if you write as yourself and you're really honest about yourself and you find something interesting about yourself that you're really passionate about, then make your college application about that, because then not only is it going to be honest and truthful to yourself, but it's also going to be more appealing to the admissions officers. Don't try to please the admissions officers, write what you truly want. Again, it's come up twice now, so it's very good advice. Research the college or university's values in order to be able to get these across. Yes, and this is something I did do a little bit. I would go and look at the university's websites, and I'd try to look at the university and all of the things they do and find what aspects of the university really appealed to me, and I'd try to write about these things in my application, because then it shows, because the colleges know that you're going to be applying to lots of schools, but what they want to see in your application is that you really want to go to their school specifically, and you've put effort into looking at their school specifically, and they want to know that if they admit you, you're going to go there, because they want high yield rates, I think it's called, because obviously everyone who gets admitted to Yale doesn't choose Yale. Some people will choose other schools. So I think, I don't know, 70% of Yale admits choose Yale or something. I don't know, I just made that number up, whatever. But the admissions officers want as many people as they admit to actually choose to go to that school. So if in your application you make it seem and this should also be honest and genuine as well, which in my case it was, you look on that university's website, see what appeals to you, and then include that in your application, because it shows that you've actually put effort into specifically researching that university, and I think that will help your application. And it's also a good idea, like Lauren said, to research their values and try and get these across as well. Don't apply for a major you don't like, even if it's less taken or prestigious. Undecided is okay. Yes, this is a very good piece of advice. So again, unlike the Australian university application process, when you apply to most colleges in America, you indicate a major that you're interested in, but it's not set in stone, and you can basically pick any of them, and it doesn't really matter what you pick. They're just interested to see what you think you're going to study at the moment, but you can also pick undecided if you want to. So I mean, I don't know, don't take my word as gospel by any means, but I don't think that this, whatever you choose, is really going to have an impact on whether you get in or not. So don't be afraid to choose undecided if you are undecided. Jennifer says, definitely have your application tell one cohesive story through the through the recommendations, extracurriculars, and essays. She wrote like abbreviations and I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, okay. Yes, okay, this is fantastic advice, trying to tell one cohesive story. Basically, I've spoken about this on my channel before, I think, but what US colleges, or what like the top schools in the US are looking for is well-rounded student, but not just well-rounded. They want a well-rounded student with a spike in a certain area. So again, this is advice that I found out after I'd done my application. But for example, if we take me for an example, my spike, there is a bird chirping. My spike could be YouTube. So we're taking this as an example. My spike is YouTube. So in the recommendation letters that I get people to write, I'm going to ask them to write about my YouTube channel and how I've helped impact the community and how I've helped people learn stuff and whatever through my YouTube channel. In my extracurriculars, I'm going to talk about my YouTube channel heavily. I'm going to make sure it's included in there. Also put in all of your other ECs as well. Like, don't just focus on this one thing, because they do want you to be fairly well-rounded, but it's really important to have a spike. And then in the essays, I would make my essays about my YouTube channel and how it's done this and that. I do think that it's really important to have a spike and to kind of like mold your whole application around that spike, because that also makes you really unique and that makes you stand out, and it shows that you're passionate in this one area. And I've talked about this before. I've explained in previous videos how they want people with a spike. So good advice, Jennifer. Okay. Oh, okay, well, the next advice says, be your most authentic self. Don't worry about having a spike or being well-rounded. Okay, so I definitely agree. You should be super just genuine and try and come across as yourself as much as possible. And I don't think you should worry about like having a spike or being well-rounded or whatever, but I do think probably over the course of your life, you have kind of developed like you've developed interests in a few areas, and you've probably got one area, maybe you've got a couple of areas that have kind of like spiked your interest, which could be considered spikes. So I wouldn't change yourself or anything, but I would try to convey all of those in your application. But don't stress about it too much, because I guess the most important thing is to be genuine. But I do think it helps to kind of find something that you are genuinely passionate about and try to shape your application around that a little bit. Again, please don't just like take all of this advice from me and like do all of it. Just like take from this video what works for you, because I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. So package yourself and tell your story. Tell how you dream of making an impact beyond Yale. Yes, I definitely agree. And if you can kind of like, again, you could kind of incorporate this with your spike that your whole application has been molded around, because you could, let me just read it again, because perhaps the area in which you kind of dream of improving the world is related to that spike. So perhaps I have a dream with my YouTube channel of making all these cool videos that help people with I don't know what. So it's something like that, but obviously apply that advice to your own situation. But I think that is a good thing to do. Don't be afraid to write some pretty terrible first drafts. Be kind to yourself when writing. Yes, could not agree more. The hardest part, we all know the hardest part of writing an essay is to start. So literally just start, write down anything. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Like just write. Don't spend too long like stressing over each single paragraph or anything. Just like write as much as you can. Get all of your thoughts out onto one piece of paper, whether you're probably typing it. Just get all of your thoughts out onto your computer or whatever you're doing it on. And then stop and go back, and then you can refine and refine and refine as many times as you want. Like you can go over your essay hundreds of times. I did not do that, but you can go over as many times as you want, and definitely try and have other people go over it. So it doesn't matter how bad your first draft is. That's not the one you're submitting. That's not even close to the one you're submitting. But just getting stuff down on paper, like you've got to start somewhere. So just try and blurt it all out. Okay. I don't go to Yale, but UConn, University of Connecticut, has an app that's so useful. Okay. I'm not sure, you haven't included what the app is called, but maybe if you search like UConn college application app. I'm not sure, but that is good advice. If there's a useful app, definitely in the college application process, it's good to get tips and advice from as wide a range of resources as possible. So go check out that app if you can find it. Show multiple sides of yourself. Yes, definitely. It's hard to do it all, isn't it? It's hard to have a spike and be well-rounded and try and show all of these different sides of yourself. So I guess, yeah, don't worry too much about everything, but personally, the way I would go about it, and again, do what you want to do, have your spike, make your application centered kind of around that, but also try to include different aspects of yourself as well, because you don't want to be focused completely on one thing, but I think it helps to kind of have one thing to kind of mold your application around. But also, and in your like extracurricular section, you can list all of your ECs, and yeah, there's lots of parts to the application, so you should be able to get, and there's so many different questions as well. Normally in like the college specific part of the Common App, there are specific questions that'll ask you about communities that have impacted you, and, or like, you know, that's just a random example, but different questions, so you can get different sides of yourself out in those different questions. Yeah, okay. Truly be yourself. If the college only accepts the fake you, is that where you want to be? Could not agree more. Oh, someone just got into Yale early. Congratulations, Jeffrey. That is amazing. You should be so proud of yourself. The college application process in the US, and I cannot stress this enough to international students, it is intense and it takes a really long time, and it's quite emotionally draining and physically draining. So that is amazing. You should be so proud of yourself, and congratulations to anyone else who has got into any college or university. Early decisions for many US colleges have just come out, and decisions for Australian universities have also probably come out fairly recently. So congratulations to everyone. You should all be super proud of yourselves, because getting into university or college anywhere in the world is a fantastic achievement. So good job. I am very proud of you. Anyway, back to Jeffrey's advice. He says, definitely have a cohesive story theme throughout your app. Okay, yeah, this same piece of advice seems to be coming up a little bit, so I do think it's a good idea. Try and have a cohesive story, theme, spike, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, okay. Ramsey is in my college. I've had a couple of conversations with him. I only got there late in the semester, so I didn't get to meet everyone lots of times, but he is a really nice guy, and he says, have a unique passion that traces a common theme throughout your application. Again, oh, and then he says, and can be pursued at Yale. I would agree with that one. So again, whatever school you're applying to, go on their website and see how you'd be able to continue to use it at the college that you're applying to. Catherine says, be open to everything and anything. So yeah, I mean, I think with your college application, you've just got to try, just like get stuff out, just write everything down that you're thinking. Lots of people, I did not do this, but lots of people have like so many different ideas for what they're going to write their personal essay on, so they write like 6 different drafts and then see which one is best. So I guess if you have an idea, it doesn't hurt to just try it out and see if it works, and then you know. But I mean, then it does take a lot of time, so I don't know. US, you kind of have to put a lot of effort and time, and a lot of time into applying to colleges in the US, so but it's worth it in the end. It is worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. I was like, is it? Yes, it definitely is. Okay, so that's all the advice, and then I got a couple of questions in there from people who aren't at Yale but like have questions about applying, so I'm just gonna quickly answer them. There's only 2. So, as an Australian, how do you transfer atar to whatever the US has? You don't have to. So in my college applications on the Common App, I did not have to convert anything. I just put in my atar, and I think Yale and most US colleges have probably had Australian students before, and they probably have their own systems and ways of converting things. But I get asked so many questions about how I converted my atar to a GPA and how I did. No, you don't have to do anything. You just put in your atar, and they will do what they want with it. They probably don't, I don't know if they take it into account all that much, but I mean, well, they probably should, because it's like, anyway, whatever. I didn't have to convert it though. And then Kylie has asked for any overall study tips in general. So I didn't ask people to give me study tips in this video, but that is a good idea. So would you guys like me to ask my friends at Yale for their study tips? Because I could make a whole video similar to this one, but instead of giving college app advice, I could give like study tips from Yale students, or you know, something like that. So let me guys know in the comment section below if you would be interested in a video like that, because this one has been really fun to film, and I feel like, because I've given so many study and revision tips and advice on this channel, so maybe it would be nice to have advice from other people, because I feel like I've kind of given all of my advice. I always come up with new things, but I feel like it would be good to get advice and then I could use that advice as well. Actually, yeah, that would be a good video. So let me know if you guys want that. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see more videos in this kind of style, because I could do the study tips one, I could do other ones if you have suggestions for other ones. Yeah, let me know if you like this kind of style of video by giving it a thumbs up. Alrighty, that is all the advice for today. Thank you so much for everyone who replied to my Instagram story and gave us college application advice. I really appreciated it, and I'm sure all of my viewers appreciate it as well. I wish I'd known all of this advice when I was applying to college, but I didn't. If you have enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some of my other videos, because I think I have over 200 videos on my YouTube channel now. I've been doing this for a really long time. I have so many videos on my channel, so many videos on college, so many videos I've been filming throughout high school. I've been filming so much stuff on my channel. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel, because our subscriber goal for 2021, I was going to say 2020. Our subscriber goal for 2021 is to hit 100,000 subscribers, which is so many, but it would mean the world to me and to everyone in my YouTube family if you could help us out and get us to 100,000 subscribers, and I'd really love to have you a part of that number, and I'd love to have you a part of this family. So if you would like to subscribe, there's a button down there that says subscribe, and it's red, and if you click it, then it turns grey, and you should do that. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!